100.7 and 100.3 FM, WEHA, a national night of prayer. Theme, Reset. On this Tuesday, August 4th, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. with special guests, Perry Mays, President of Coalition for Safe Community, Pastor Thomas Dawson, Sword Church of Woodbine, New Jersey, Pastor Bruce Weeknet, Moravian Church, Egg Harbor City, New Jersey, WEHA's own Elaine Hawks, also known as Lady Praise, Elder Tony Owens of the Cathedral Grace Family Church, and Next Generation Pastor Uric Lewis of Fresh Start Church, all taking place this Tuesday, August 4th, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. on WEHA. It's a national night of prayer. Theme, Reset.
Pajam Thriller.
I'm not gonna be afraid no more. Fear don't live here no more. I'm not gonna be afraid no more. Pain just walked out the door. That spirit ain't here with me. God didn't put that in me. But the spirit of power and love and of sound mind, sound mind. Waking up every day thinking what I'm gonna pay with the money I made. Thinking what I'm gonna say when the wife asks me where the money we saved. Using loot from the gas bill to pay the rent. More loot from the light bill I spent. Don't wanna get the phone cause it just keep ringing and ringing. A lot of things through the mail got me thinking I can make it if I use more debt. Get a refi on the crib but the loan man keeps saying not yet. I rob Pete, make a deal with Paul. Praying that pink slip don't fall. Brother ain't got time, too much on the grind. I'ma let it go, trust God, let him know. Not gonna be afraid no more. Fear don't live here no more. Not gonna be afraid no more. Pain just walked out the door. That spirit ain't here with me. God didn't put that in me. But the spirit of power and love and of sound mind, sound mind. Seems like every day something worse popping up on the news report. Should I keep the kids home from school? Should I stay away from the airport? They're using fear as a weapon to evoke hate. Everybody think the world ain't a safe place. Don't wanna use the phone cause it might be. Shh, somebody's listening. A lot of views got me all confused and I really don't know what to think. We got conservatives, liberals, activists, spiritual hypocrites on the brink. No offense. One nation's deadly call results in another nation's fall. People ain't got time, too much on the ground. We gon' let it go, trust God, let them know. Not gonna be afraid no more. Fear don't live here no more. Not gonna be afraid no more. Pain just walked out the door. That spirit ain't here with me. God didn't put that in me. But the spirit of power and love and of sound mind, sound mind. Gas up through the roof and I just bought a Hummer and convertible coupe. Trying to keep a little juice in the boost in the trunk, but my loot's in use. Pajams working overtime, keeping hope alive. Keeping Moss in the ministry in public eye. But hypothetically, what happens if the phone stops ringing? It's my belief. Not gonna be afraid of poverty. Not gonna be afraid not losing sleep. Not gonna be afraid running out of money. Not gonna be afraid no more. Racism. Not gonna be afraid no more. Terrorism. Not gonna be afraid no more. Brother ain't got time, too much on the grind. I'ma let it go, trust God, let him know. Not gonna be afraid no more. Fear don't live here no more. Not gonna be afraid no more. Pain just walked out the door. That spirit ain't here with me. God didn't put that in me. The spirit of power and love and sound mind, sound mind. Not gonna be afraid no more. Fear don't live here no more. Not gonna be afraid no more. Pain just walked out the door. That spirit ain't here with me. God didn't put that in me. The spirit of power and love and sound mind, sound mind.
Pajam. J Moss. We ain't never scared. Shape yourself up. If you got God on your side, you ain't got nothing to be scared of.
Truth is, tired of the rat race. Truth is,
Check it out. Truth is, tired of the madness. Truth is, it gets crazy every day. Well, truth is, I'm even tired of the phone calls over and over again. Truth is, they never go away. But in spite of everything,
I am ready to get my praise on. Ready to worship Him. I'm ready
to worship,
Oh, I'm ready.
to praise Him,
I'm ready.
to worship Him,
I'm ready.
to praise His name,
I'm ready.
to praise Him.
I'm ready.
I'm ready for worship Him,
I'm ready.
for worship,
Oh, I'm ready.
ready to praise His name. Never too tired to praise Him,
Put your hands together.
never too tired to praise Him, never tired to praise Him. Ooh-wee, never too tired to praise Him. Come on, sing. God is worthy of all glory. I'm ready.
To worship.
I'm ready.
I will bless the Lord.
At all times.
For He's worthy.
I'm so ready.
To praise Him.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Hey, hey.
Neither heart neither death.
Whether I'm sick, whether I'm well,
I'm ready.
I'm so ready.
Never too tired.
Truth is, truth is, truth is. Never time to praise Him. Never too tired to praise the Lord. Yeah.
No.
Hello, WEHA listeners. This is Lisa Diane Hall, General Sales Manager here at WEHA 88.7 and 100.3 FM, where we have gospel and we have talk. We'd like to thank you for listening and sincerely appreciate your continued support over the last 10 years. Thanks to all of you, WEHA is now a 2-time Stellar Award-winning gospel radio station with a recording studio right here in your local community. As the newly appointed General Sales Manager, it is my goal to share my 20 years of experience in broadcasting and marketing with your church, business, or organization. I am pleased to announce WEHA's new community branding partnerships, where you have the opportunity to be heard on all of WEHA's platforms, including 2 FM bands, WEHA WeHaveGospel.com, and all of WEHA's social media pages, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. WEHA is currently seeking new Sunday morning programming and new talk shows. For more information or to arrange a WEHA studio tour, you can reach me, Lisa Diane Hall, at WEHA Studios at 609-641-8870. That's 609-641-8870. WEHA is Christ-centered, community-focused, and listener-supported.
Beautiful innocence, you traded it for my guilt. You given me life within. You gave beauty for ashes. You gave it all for me.
Gospel 88.7 88.7 WEHA. It's more than music. It's ministry.
WEHA, Port Republic, Atlantic City. And now on FM Translator 100.3 W262CF, Atlantic City. Partners in Faith presents Out Front Podcast Radio Show with hosts Bishop John Gandy and Pastor Josh Kennedy. They will discuss how the church and community can move forward from our current state of civic unrest to healing and unity with the church out front and leading. You can tune in to Out Front with Bishop John Gandy and Pastor Josh Kennedy live every Wednesday, 5 p.m. on WEHA. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily those of WEHA, Gospel 88.7 and 100.3 FM. We Have Gospel, Spread the Gospel Inc., or any of its sponsors. WEHA is a listener-supported radio station. To make a donation, call 609-641-8870. Visit our headquarters at 3 Canal Drive, Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey, 08234. Or log on to our website, wehavegospel.com.
We have gospel.
If you just tuned in, you're listening to In the Community with Dr. Thelma and First Lady Parrish right here on your favorite two-time Stellar Award-winning gospel radio station, WEHA 88.7, 100.3 FM. We have gospel. This broadcast is being brought to you by the Hawks family businesses who have been serving our community for over 30 years. And Beacon Hall, turning moments into memories. And McDonald's Atlantic City CEO Tony and Rita Mack. Thank you so much for sponsoring In the Community with Dr. Thelma and First Lady Parrish. All right, we have a few things that we want everybody to be aware of. First, I want, for those that don't know, my father, Bishop Luke Witherspoon, he had emergency surgery over a week ago. He's doing better, but I'm asking for everyone to continue to pray for him, that he has a speedy recovery. He's in rehab now, and he's doing much better. I talked to him this morning, and even with him recovering, he's concerned about the people. And he said, Thelma, tell the people to pray, for the stimulus check, that everything goes through. I said, Dad, I'll make sure I do that, because a lot of people, especially in our country, in our community, really needs it. I know it's in Congress and they're working on it, but let us pray. The Bible says, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face. We want to pray that goes through, so many Americans will be helped during this pandemic. I want you to know the show we have today is an outstanding show, and we're going to be talking about some things coming up in the show, but the economic impact on the country has been, without words, tremendous. And so we're praying for those businesses, for the residents and people who just are trying to make it and trying to make ends meet. It's a very serious time in our community and in our country. So we want to keep that, and want you to keep that in mind. I do have an announcement for you today. There's a scholarship opportunity. The Thurgood Marshall College Fund, TMCF, and McDonald's are proud to offer financial assistance to outstanding students attending one of the TMCF's 47 publicly supported historically black colleges and universities, also known as HBCUs, or a predominantly black institutions. Selected scholarships we received a scholarship up to $15,000 for the 2020-2021 academic school year, $7,500 for each semester, which can only be applied to verifiable costs associated with average tuition and usual fees. You can apply for a Black and Positively Golden Scholarship now through August the 3rd. You have to August the 3rd, 2020, by following the link Black and Positively Golden Scholarship Fund app, APP. That's Black and Positively Golden Scholarship Fund app. I've also put all of this on my social media to make sure that on social media that you have it. So it's on my Facebook page, Instagram. It's on all of this. This information is there also as well. So I want to make sure that everyone is aware of that. And make sure if you know anyone who's in need of scholarship funds that they apply for the scholarship. The show we're doing today with First Lady Parrish is a great show.
Yes.
And we're basically, the show today is talking about I am a COVID-19 survivor.
Yes.
This show is in no wise trying to minimize the virus and the dangers of the virus.
Right.
The dangers of the virus. But we also want to show that people have survived.
Survived, absolutely.
Right. And people, there's over 1.8 million people, according to the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, who have survived worldwide.
Worldwide, yes.
From the coronavirus. So it is not a death sentence.
No, it's not.
It's not a death sentence, but people should still practice precautions.
Oh, yes, definitely.
You know, so we're talking about precautions, First Lady, before our first guest calls in. You know, I still wear my mask.
I wear my mask.
I wash my hands. I social distance.
And I don't want to offend anybody, but when I give you the hand, back up.
Exactly.
Because you don't want people too close. Even with the mask on.
Exactly.
You still have to practice social distance.
Yeah, and then some people are saying, you know, what type of mask you have. If it has to have a certain, you know, ply.
Yeah.
But you need to have some covering.
Something covering.
I think that's important. People getting in arguments and slamming people and fighting people and shooting people over wearing a mask is just crazy to me. This is for our own protection, not only for ourselves, but also for our loved ones, you know, and the people that we love, and even if we don't know them. It's for them, for their protection as well. You know, so you want to keep yourself safe. And I want to talk about, we got a couple minutes before our first guest calls in.
Right.
A lot of people are passing away because of underlying issues. In the minority community, we have a lot of health problems.
Yes.
Obesity.
Right.
And if you're 15 pounds overweight, you're obese. So that means I'm obese too. Okay, but I'm working on it. Okay.
Keto told me that. Keto said I was obese.
All right. So, you know, there's a high blood pressure. There's diabetes.
The triplets, cholesterol.
Cholesterol problems. Things that we need to work on. We need to eat more fruits and vegetables and drink more water to become healthy.
Right.
You know, not that, so that we can, our immune system will be strong. I want everybody to survive and thrive.
Yes, absolutely.
In COVID-19. You know, so we're talking, Lady Parrish, about that and how people should practice safe distancing.
You know, and also, we know we can't visit the nursing homes. We're visiting from the outside.
That's true.
However, even if a person has an elderly person in their home, you should be aware. And even, you know, we have the can at the door, the mask at the door, and we spray down and everything like that. But we're not encouraging like an onslaught of visitors. Now, this 700 person party that was broken up in Jackson, New Jersey.
Wow.
700 people in a place. Now, that how can you safe distance with 700 people?
You really can.
You can't.
You really
So
can.
you're opening yourself up to it. Some people say coronavirus is a hoax. You talk to those people who have experienced it and were away from home 7 weeks. I had one friend in Georgia. She's on my Facebook page, and she's sort of elderly, and she may be listening. So Miss Ann Lockhart, she was away from her family for 7 weeks with COVID, and she's in her 80s, and she survived. She went back home.
Wow.
And her granddaughter let everybody know she was fine.
Exactly. Well, the same thing happened. Well, our first guest is calling in on the show, and Lady Parrish is going to introduce our first guest. Okay. And we're talking about I am a COVID-19 survivor.
Yes. Is he welcome? Anthony Osimbo from Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay. I think he is on the line. Anthony, is that you? Yes. So, again, say that name because I don't.
Anthony, you say your last name for us.
My last name is Osimbo.
Oh, I was right.
You were right. Osimbo.
Osimbo.
That sounds like, kind of princess or something. Prince. Royalty here. Thank you so much for calling in on our program today. And we're talking about I am a COVID-19 survivor.
Yes.
And we want you to talk about your experience. When did you find out you had it? How did you find out? Did you know how you got it? And where are you at it now with it?
Okay. I think I was exposed at my workplace, and when I found out about it, at first, what happened was that I did have all this. When I had all the symptoms, my eyes were burning, my throat was itchy, and all that good stuff. When they tested me, it came negative. And then afterwards, there was a day I said, I feel like I've been exposed, so let me go ahead and go and get tested. And when I went and got tested, they said I was positive, but I really did not have that many symptoms. The only symptom I believe I had was that I just had loss of appetite. Otherwise, everything else was just fine. And if I had a cough, it was a very productive cough. It was not a really dry cough.
So you were asymptomatic?
Yes, ma'am.
So you didn't even know you had it?
No, I did not know I had it. But what happened was that there's a local store here. I'd gone there, and the lady said that her husband had it before. And so she told me some of the things that I need to take just to protect myself. And there was a lady who had come in the store with 2 children, said that their children had COVID. And when they went to the hospital, they gave him medication, but the medication wasn't working right until she started taking the natural stuff. And she said the kids at first did not like the taste, but afterwards it just became something normal, and the kids got healed. And the lady's husband had it for 14 days, took this remedy, and got healed in 14 days.
Okay, now
what? Doesn't have it anymore.
Wow. So they went to herbs.
What did you say, ma'am?
They went to herbs.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, they went to herbs.
Okay, now we're for a disclaimer, we're not medical doctors, and we're not telling the people out there in our listening audience that they should do that. You should go to your doctor. But Anthony Osimbo?
Yes, ma'am.
He is telling of his experience. So what did you do to overcome COVID-19?
So what I did, I used elderberry just to help. And I also used I would take fresh ginger, fresh turmeric, cloves, cinnamon, and also something called holy basil juice. And I would drink the holy basil juice, but the black pepper, cloves, cinnamon, fresh turmeric, and fresh ginger, I would soak that overnight. And then in the morning, I would boil it and drink it all day. It was not the best taste, but it was something that was helping me out. So after a while, it really, really helped. And most of those symptoms they are pretty much gone. I'd lost my appetite, but now I think I can eat a whole cow by myself.
So now, after you got tested, did you quarantine?
Yes, yeah. I stayed at home.
Yeah. Now, how did that affect your family members? I mean, were you in a room by yourself, or how did that go?
My family members actually have been out of town for a while, so I've just been staying in the house, and I just have to let my friends know not to come to visit me, just to stay away.
Oh.
I had to let my friends know that I had it, so that they wouldn't come, because I'm from Kenya, and so a lot of times my friends don't just call, they just show up.
Right.
And you don't want that,
We do it here.
because if they come and they show up with kids, and now you just expose children and everything like that. So I've had to let them know way ahead of time that, hey, I got something going on, so you guys might want to lay off a little bit. We'll continue with the party later when all is well.
Exactly. Well, at least you were not selfish.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, have you, after the quarantining for the 14 days, you went back to the doctor and was retested, and what happened?
I'm still waiting. I went, and they're still taking long because my company has to go through HR and all that, and you know how the system works. They're not in a rush, because that means, when we're out, we're not being paid and all that. You have to use your time. So I'm still waiting for them, but I'm pretty much healed. I'm good.
All right. Now, did they, when you took your test, did they use
Yes,
something
ma'am.
like a long Q-tip and stick it up your nose, or?
Ooh, Lord Jesus, you talking about that. What an experience. I'm telling you, because my nose was so dry, so I said, you know what, let me do some kind of therapy. Let me blow my nose up so that when the time comes, they'll be able to get the stuff. Oh, I was wrong. So they had to dig into my nose twice, and every time I think about it, I cringe, because it was not a fun experience.
Exactly.
So they have to stick it up my nose.
Yeah, that's what happened to me when I tested negative, but just
Yes.
to go up all the way up my nose with that, water was coming out my eyes and everything. It literally burned. Now, did it burn you?
Woo, yes, it did. It burned. Everything it burned so much. It was really not. It was very painful.
Yeah, I felt the same way. So you're coming out of the experience, and now you're
Yeah.
waiting for the next results to say you're negative.
Yes, ma'am. Then I can go back to work, because I do not like staying in the house. Is boring. I like to cook and everything, but how much can you cook in 2 weeks? And if it's cleaning, how much can you clean in 2 weeks? So,
Well, your flowers are beautiful. I saw them on your page. Your
Yes,
flowers
what
are
did you say?
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of times I've just been, I just spend a lot of time on my knees just praying, and it helps me out. I felt like having this COVID has helped me to refocus and also spend more time with things of God. So I feel like I'm almost reborn, and God had to put me to rest. He had to let me go through this so I could rest. So I feel rejuvenated, and I'm ready to work. They're going to have to pull me off work when it's time for me to go to work, because I work like crazy. I'm ready to go back to
Yes,
work.
you do.
So now you said you got it from work. How do you know you got it from work, that you was exposed from work?
Because I was working with patients who had it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So how will you be safe if you go back?
I'll put all the PPEs and extra PPE, and I'll still take the supplements that I'm supposed to be taking, even though I'm okay. But I'm just gonna shield myself, and if I don't have to get close to anybody, I will stay as far as I can.
Okay, and protect yourself.
Yes.
Make
Yes,
sure.
ma'am, and protect myself and everybody around me.
Yeah. So you're gonna now. Did you have on the mask and the shield and the gloves and all of that before?
I did have the mask, but they gave us some sunglasses, the clear glasses to wear. But those things were so uncomfortable, because every time you breathe, it would fog up, and you gotta see where you're going. So most of the times I didn't really wear those, but I wore the I-95 and another extra mask.
Oh, okay. So you did have on the mask, but you still got it.
Yes.
Anthony, they sort of relaxed the rules there in South Carolina, didn't they? That you didn't have to wear a mask and stuff?
Because I work in a hospital, we have to wear a mask. As soon as you walk in, you must wear a mask. But if you're walking outside, they don't really care too much.
Right.
But I feel, I wear a mask so that I protect other people, because I don't want to be selfish.
Right, absolutely.
Yes.
I really appreciate you saying that, and we thank you for calling in on the show today, and we pray that when you get your results, They will all
Yes,
be
ma'am.
negative, and that you have recovered. You're just waiting on the information
Confirmation.
the confirmation that you are totally recovered.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, and thank you all for the opportunity. And God bless you, and may God bless your work, the work of your hands and your show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a beautiful day.
Thank
too.
you.
Good night. Goodbye.
You're
See
welcome. Bye.
ya. See ya.
That was our first
Thank you.
caller coming in
Yes.
from South Carolina. And just letting people know that you can get it.
Yes. Yes.
You can be exposed, even with protecting yourself. You've got to constantly wash your hands. And last week I put something on about the hand sanitizers. And First Lady Parrish went to and put a website on from the FDA.
Yes, yes.
Showing that some sanitizers, just because you use a sanitizer doesn't mean it's the right one.
Especially the one that's 90% glitter, and you know who I'm talking to. Because it's pretty, doesn't mean it's safe.
All right, just because it's pretty doesn't mean it's safe. And so we thank him for calling. So make sure soap and water. They say soap and water is the best.
It's the best, yes.
For you to, wash your hands with soap and water. They say sing happy birthday. I don't have time, but I do. I'm not singing happy birthday, but I do wash my hands.
Right, they say hum, yeah.
And hum or whatever, and making sure you're getting in between your fingers and all of that, and then drying off properly. And but I think I'm going to go buy me a case and just put some soap in the case, and then when I'm wherever I'm at, just use my soap.
Yeah, and you can also put a soap solution in a little thing and spray your hands in the car and wipe them down too.
Yeah.
Now we're waiting for you, Tanya. I see you're watching, so it's time for you to call in.
Yeah, we thank our first caller for calling in from South Carolina.
Columbia, South Carolina.
Columbia, South Carolina.
Nice man. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
very
ma'am.
nice person. So we're waiting
Still on the line?
I don't know, but if you're still.
Do I need to hang up?
Yeah.
Thank you. We thought you. Thank you so much, Anthony.
Thank you so much. I'm going to hang up.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
We're waiting for Tanya.
bye.
Yes, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So as we're waiting for our second caller to call in, she's calling in from Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, yes.
And Philadelphia is one of the hot spots. I was seeing something on the news, but I didn't get a chance with Egg Harbor Township.
That we're getting more people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting more people in Egg Harbor Township who has COVID-19. Yeah. I saw that yesterday.
I didn't see it, but I heard something on the news. And
Yeah.
I listen to the numbers every day from where to where. And I'm just saying, be safe. You don't have to wear a mask if you're out jogging by yourself because you're going to pass out. So if you're alone, don't wear a mask while you're jogging in the street. You don't have to wear your mask while you're in the car by yourself.
Exactly.
You're going to pass out.
In the car by yourself, shield up.
Right. So put it under your chin. If you can see me, I have it under my chin. When I need it, I just pull it up.
Yeah.
I'm 6 foot away from Pastor Witherspoon, so we're fine. Dr. Witherspoon, so we're fine. But you don't have to wear that mask out there jogging. I don't want to have to do a drive-by and pull it off you.
Because it's hot.
Waiting for you.
It's hot. It's
Yes.
hot. It's real hot outside. And so I think I went to a concert in Egg Harbor Township at the Canale Park on Wednesday. And the Pops were playing. And they were social distancing the people who were there at the park. They were more than 6 feet apart, spread all over the park. It was a very nice event to see people with their masks, to see people separated outside. I don't feel that our life should, I think we should be cautious. I think we should have wisdom. But I don't feel that we should live in a state of paranoia.
No.
But everything is different for each person. And so I don't minimize their particular feelings.
Right.
And I feel that you have to go on your own conviction.
Right.
This must be our next caller.
Okay.
All right, calling in on the show, Tanya Capers.
Yes.
Tanya Capers.
Is she there?
Yeah, she's getting ready to.
Yeah, she's from Philadelphia. And
Hi, Tanya. Hi, is this Tanya Capers?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Thank you for calling in. We have about 5 minutes with you before we go out on a break. But we want you to talk about your experience. You are a survivor of COVID-19?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, tell us how did you find that you had it and what was your experience?
I actually came in contact with a patient that had the Corona-19 virus.
Were you working with them or you just came in contact with someone who had it?
I was working at the time.
Okay.
And I came in and I was drawing their labs, and that's how I came in contact with the that's how I caught the virus.
All right. Now, what was your experience? Were you quarantined or did you have to be in the hospital? What was your experience?
I was in the hospital for 3 days after I found out I had it. And then I had to go on quarantine, for the 14 days at home.
Wow. Now, what was your experience in the hospital? I mean, were you on a respirator or what were they doing? How were they helping you?
No. They gave me antibiotics when I first came in. Because, after you have the coronavirus, they don't really give you too much of a medication for it. So they just treat you with the antibiotics in the beginning.
Oh, wow. Because it's a virus.
That's just the virus.
Right.
But my experience in the hospital, I was not on a ventilator at all. They just kept giving me antibiotics the whole time.
And then after that was done, you went home?
After that, I went home.
Were you by yourself? Did you quarantine by yourself, or was people in the house with you? How did that go?
Well, I had to stay in my room for 14 days.
Oh, wow.
And I did have the two children in the house with me, and they had to wear an N95 mask and gloves anytime they came in contact. But they really didn't come in the room that much, only to bring me food. And that was basically it.
Now, did they, with them wearing the masks and gloves, they weren't exposed? Did they get it or they didn't get it? Were they tested?
No, they did not. No. And the only way they could get tested is if they had symptoms. Even though they was in the house with me, they only could get tested if they had symptoms.
All right. Now, you survived. So
yeah.
After your 14 days, you went back and got another test?
They actually did not test me yet. Because they didn't test me yet. They told me they was not going to give me a test until I went back to work.
Oh.
I had pneumonia, so the only thing they did was give me an x-ray 15 days later. I had the double pneumonia with the virus, so they gave me an x-ray after that, and it was cleared. They said it was cleared after that.
Wow.
My lung.
So you don't, it hasn't been confirmed that you don't have it yet?
No. Mm-mm.
No, it's not confirmed yet. So, do you still have the quarantine? We got like 2 minutes with her. 3 minutes.
Yeah, Tanya, you were in the hospital because they said you
quarantine anymore because they basically go by how you feel, and since the symptoms I don't have any symptoms of it anymore. That's what they basically go by.
Oh, I see.
I haven't gone back to work yet though.
Okay, are you going back?
I'm going back. Mhm.
And then before you come back, you have to be tested.
Before I go back, I have to get tested again.
All right, but I'm glad that
4 days before I go back.
I'm glad that you have recovered.
Thank you.
And I pray that you stay well, and thank you for coming on our show, Lady Parrish.
Yeah, thank you, Tanya, so much, and we're praying for you continuously. And your mom and family, everybody up there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry for the delay.
This
Thank
is
you,
the niece
cousin.
of
I'm so sorry.
Elder Willie Jenkins.
Oh, okay. It's his niece.
The cousin. We're all cousins. Yeah, we're cousins.
This is your cousin?
This is my cousin. We're Stroman Millhouse family cousins. Yes.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad that you are doing so much better, and that when you had the symptoms and recognized that you went straight to get medical attention.
Right.
Yes.
Because some people try to work on their own self.
Thank you, Tanya. I know they're going to cut you off at 9:30, so thank you so very much.
Yes.
For calling in and sharing your testimony with us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
You too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. That was Tanya Capers calling in from Philadelphia, giving us her experience and what happened to her when it seemed like so far the first two people that have called in caught it from work.
Yes, the medical people.
The medical people. So I think, I wonder, I'm sure that they're desanitizing and
doing all that, but
doing all of that.
Air,
if it's in the air.
I could still say it's airborne. I just believe it's airborne.
But they say it's not airborne.
Yeah, but that's what they say. But
see, Dr. Fauci said it's not.
Dr. Fauci said it's not airborne.
Dr. Fauci, he is the expert. He is the expert, and he is the top disease doctor.
But some people haven't said they've actually worked with people and didn't wear masks and stuff and did not get it. So what can you say? I don't know. But you know what? Do we have time to?
We have 26 seconds.
Okay, 26 seconds. Thank you, Tamika Gilbert Floyd. 338 cases in EHT, which can be found on the EHT government page. Thank you, Tamika Gilbert Floyd, for posting that information.
On the show. And she is a board member.
Okay.
For the school board for EHT.
Thank you.
All right. Keep it locked. We'll be right back.
Experience 2020 Holy Convocation theme shifting to the next dimension, featuring Pastor Tina Baker, Overseer Matt Eggleston, Dr. Randall Harris, Apostle Henrietta Ford, Bishop Brian Dozier, Bishop Earl Poitier Sr., First Assistant, Bishop Marlon J. Baker, Presiding Prelate, Exousia Kingdom Global Fellowship, taking place August 5th through the 7th, 2020, with evening services 7 p.m. nightly and morning sessions Thursday and Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Conference location and host hotel, Sheraton Atlantic City Convention Center Hotel, 2 Convention Boulevard, Atlantic City, New Jersey. The rate is $79 plus tax. Cutoff date is July 31st. You can reserve today. 1-888-627-7212 or 609-344-3535. It's the Exousia Experience 2020 Holy Convocation, shifting to the next dimension.
Praise the Lord, everybody. This is Deacon William Hawks, also known as El Presidente, here at Gospel 88.7 FM and 100.3 FM Atlantic City, where we have gospel. And yes, we're still spreading the gospel one song at a time. We want to thank God for all of our listeners who continue to pray for us and support us. Oftentimes, I'm walking down the street and someone asks, Deacon Hawks, El Presidente, I want to help. I want to get involved. I want to do my part. And they say, how can I do that? And I say, you know something? You can log onto our website and participate in our 8 for 88.7. That's right, 8 for 88.7. That's where we ask you to get involved, and you can support us by just donating $8 a month. How do you do that? You just go to our website, www.wehavegospel.com, press the donate button, and just simply support us with $8 a month. It's that simple. Once again, just go to www.wehavegospel.com, click the donate button, and follow the instruction. There you go. It's as simple as that. And once again, we thank you from all of us here at Gospel 88.7 FM and 100.3 FM, where we have gospel and where we're spreading the gospel one song at a time. God bless you.
Kelsey and Kim's is now open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Takeout only, 609-350-6890. Pickups only, delivery service coming soon. Address 201 Melrose Avenue, Atlantic City, New Jersey. Kelsey and Kim's is now open for takeout, the best Southern cuisine.
If you just tune in, you listen to In the Community with Dr. Thelma and First Lady Mary Parrish, right here on your favorite gospel radio station, WEHA 88.7. This has been sponsored by the Hawks Family Businesses and Beacon Hall, turning moments into memories, and McDonald's Atlantic City CEOs and owners, Anthony and Rita Mack. And we are in our broadcast today, and our theme is I am a COVID-19 survivor. So, Lady Parrish, introduce our next guest.
Our next guest is Raquel Parrish. I don't know if that name rings a bell with you, but this is our next guest, and she's going to tell you her experience with COVID-19.
Hi, Raquel. Oops. Whoops, sorry. Hi, Raquel.
Just okay.
Hi, Raquel.
Good morning.
All right, thank you so much for calling in on the show today. And I haven't talked to you in a while, but I do keep up with you on all the positive things that you're doing. And I want to say congratulations about that. And I also want to say that I'm glad that you're a survivor.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, let's tell us about your experience. How did you find out you had COVID-19?
I found out when I was in the hospital, but I contracted it from work. I'm a nurse, and I was in close contact with a patient who at the time had pneumonia. And I guess because they coughed on me, I had an N95 one, but this is in the very beginning of COVID when they weren't giving out PPE to the nurses, and I got the droplets. I guess the droplets got onto my hair or my clothing, and the very next day, I started showing symptoms.
And then, just in case people don't know what the PPE is that's out there, what is that?
PPE is protective gear. It's protective equipment that you wear, as in like a gown, a hair covering, a face mask, shoe coverings, just to prevent droplet precautions from getting onto your body. So because the person coughed on me, my mouth was covered by a mask, but the droplets most likely got in my hair, got on my clothes, and because I am African American, I'm not washing my hair every day. And when I went to sleep that night, the droplets probably got onto me, onto like my person. And the next day, I literally had a sore throat and was sick.
Oh, wow. So did you go immediately to the doctor because you are in the health field?
I didn't immediately go. Probably 2 days later, I thought I had a sinus infection, and they gave me antibiotics. After 2 days, still no relief. By the fourth day, I started exhibiting coughing and like a fever. Went to the hospital, and they diagnosed me with pneumonia. But they sent me home. They gave me antibiotics. And maybe 2 days after that, that's when I went into respiratory distress.
Wow. So were you admitted to the hospital?
I was admitted to the hospital. I was home by myself on isolation, and my breathing was ceasing. So my stats were getting low as far as my oxygen levels, and I had got sent to the hospital through ambulance because I couldn't even walk to the bathroom. I had to sit up at all times. I had a fever of 103 all day. It never broke. It started off as a cough, but the coughing gets so bad that your muscles ache, your back aches. It feels like you've been hit like a piñata, like you've been hit constantly in the back. And like the coughing goes from maybe 30 minutes to 45 minutes at a time where you can't stop coughing and you're gasping for air. So at that time, that's when I got cleared from the hospital to get the ambulance to come to take me. But when the ambulance came, I had to unlock the door for them to get to me. Oh, that was a struggle. Just breathing like that was a struggle. But the ambulance didn't even want to take me because they said I didn't fit the description to get sent to the hospital.
Wow. So, but did they take you?
Yeah, they had to take me because the nurse was on the phone with me because they had to stay on the phone with you until the ambulance comes. And she had to get on speaker and say, if you do not take her to the hospital, she's going to die. She's in respiratory distress. She cannot breathe.
Wow. Now, were you on the ventilator, Raquel?
I wasn't on a ventilator. I was on a step down, which is a high flow machine. It's called high flow. I was on 40 liters of oxygen. And being a nurse, we normally give patients that, that have like any type of breathing problems like COPD or anything like that, maybe 10 liters. I was on 40.
Wow.
Regular oxygen, I still felt like a fish gasping for air. And I was on the oxygen because I was hospitalized for 8 days. I was on the oxygen for 6 days before I could breathe on my own.
Wow. And so you was in the hospital for 8 days. After the 8 days, did you had to go to rehab or you were able to go home?
I was able to go home. After the 6th day, they put me in a step down from the COVID unit because I was on the COVID unit. But when I got home, I was on isolation for another 14 days. So in total, I was on isolation and sick for 45 days.
Wow.
So when I got home, my symptoms, I still couldn't breathe as good. Like I couldn't move around my house and clean or do any vigorous work, but I was able to breathe on my own.
That's good. Now, have you been retested to say you don't have COVID-19?
No, and I also have not been back to work because I'm still in recovery. I still have issues with breathing. I'm on oxygen at home. I'm on oxygen at night, and I'm on a couple different meds still because I still haven't fully recovered. I don't breathe like I used to. I almost feel like I'm asthmatic as of now. A lot of activities that I used to do, I can't do. So I'm still recovering, actually. And it's been since March.
Wow. So you're actually still in it.
Yes, I'm still in it.
Wow. You're recovering, but you're still in it.
Well, I don't have, as far as I'm concerned, because they go by symptoms, I don't have any of the symptoms for COVID, but I still have shortness of breath. I never had any respiratory issues beforehand. So for me to be a young, healthy person, they say that the COVID, when you get it, the symptoms sometimes linger. You have inflammation in your lungs. You have scarring on your lungs from the pneumonia, from the virus. So they're assuming that as they're going by, because they don't know anything, they're still researching, that the effects of COVID still linger, like the inflammation in the lungs and the scarring. So they're still treating people, even after having COVID, they're still treating people for symptoms and after effects of COVID. So I guess I'm one of those people.
So yours basically is now related to COVID. You don't actually have the COVID, but it's related symptoms from the COVID.
Yeah, symptoms from COVID, the after effects. So that's what I'm getting treated for now.
Wow. Well, Red Cow, I pray that, you will have a speedy recovery. It's been a long time. 45 days is a long time. Now,
yes, it is. It's a very long time.
Now I know you have
no issues.
I know you have a daughter. How did that work while you were recovering? Were you quarantined from her, or how did that go?
I was quarantined, yes. I was quarantined from my daughter for a month and a half. I didn't see her. Thank God for my parents keeping her for me. But once I got to work and I started seeing how bad it was and there was no protective gear for us, literally the day before I got sick, I sent her with my parents, and I didn't see her for a month and a half after that.
Oh, wow.
So she didn't get it, thank God, because I took the precaution to put her to my family. So that way, just because I'm going in and out the house and I'm dealing with patients, I just didn't want her to get sick because she has asthmatic problems as well. So I didn't want to expose her to that.
That's a loving mother. And thank God you had parents that could take your daughter so she wouldn't be exposed. Now, was there any isolation from her, because y'all are very close from what I've seen in the past? Did she have any kind of separation issues? Although she was with grandmom and grandpa, she wasn't with you. What was she going through?
She wanted to come home, of course, but she couldn't. I missed her birthday because I was hospitalized the next day. And then also she didn't like seeing me in the hospital. Thank God for FaceTime. So that was the only saving grace, was FaceTime.
Exactly.
But she was kind of ready to go home after like a month.
Yeah. Is she back home now, or is she still with your parents?
She's back home now.
Okay. Well, we pray that you will totally recover. We thank you for calling in on the show today. So people, what would you say to people who don't think that this is real?
I also in the beginning didn't think it was real. I thought it was just like something that they just made up at the time, but it is very real. Take all the precautions you can. Hand washing is very important. Wear your mask. Keep it on your person at all times. Please do not think it is a joke. It is very real. I'm a healthy young woman. I have no previous medical history, and to this day, I'm still recovering, and it has been months. It is very real. If you have any type of medical issues, you should take even more precautions. Wash your hands. Hand washing is very important. Just keep your hands clean. You don't have to super clean because we need germs, but please wash your hands, and please do not cross-contaminate.
Cross-contaminate. Thank you. And you saying cross-contaminate, what do you mean for those who are out there listening?
Cross-contaminate is, for example, the people who wear gloves in the store. that's cross-contaminating. You're touching the things in the store, you're touching your debit card with these gloves. These gloves are keeping whatever you touched on them, and then some of them get right back in the car and keep the gloves on and drive home. You cross-contaminated. Everything that you just touched is transferred over to what you just touched afterwards. So if you have to wear gloves in the store, wear them, take them off, replace them. Do not wear them throughout the store, at the register, in the car, and please don't throw them on the ground.
Exactly. That is so nasty for people to throw them in the ground on the parking lot. I have seen that. I've seen that too. So get and the mask. Don't dispose of it properly. So I really appreciate that. We don't want no one to cross contaminate. All right. So if you wear the gloves, take them off and put on a fresh pair. Don't keep wearing the same gloves, like you say, all through the store, through the register, in the car. Now you went to the laundromat, or if you got washing at home, or you went to the hairdresser. You got the gloves on. You look protected, but you're not.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Raquel, and we pray that you will have a speedy recovery.
Thank you. You guys have a good day.
You too. Thank you. Talk to you later.
That was very good. Good. Bye. Very good information about not cross-contaminating and, constantly washing your hands. Because I have seen people with gloves on.
Yeah, I see them in stores and different places, and they have them on. They would just keep them on and doing stuff with them, putting them back. I was like, if they're touching that, that's not clean.
No. So you have to change the gloves.
Yeah.
Change your mask. Wash the mask if you can wash them. Wash them. Don't wear 2-3 days with the same mask and all of that. Cleanliness is very important to protecting yourself with the COVID-19.
Right.
That's a number one thing. So protect yourself. Don't cross-contaminate, and constantly wash your hands and social distance.
Great.
Right. Wow. So we're waiting on our next caller to call in, but I thought that was good.
I think, because we got a new word, cross-contaminate.
Right.
Which people didn't say. You don't hear it a lot, but that is true. So it's something to think about.
And that's your granddaughter.
That's my granddaughter, Raquel.
Raquel that called in.
Healthy person. She's healthy. And, but, sometimes you have the underlining. But, while we have this 30 seconds or so before our next caller, we want to give our sincere condolences to the lady who was here for dementia.
Yes.
And talked about her dad. Her dad passed away.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Right. You done that show for me when I wasn't here.
Right.
So,
dementia. Yes.
Well, we have our next caller calling in for the show, and our last caller calling in for the show. Lady Praise. Hello, Lady Praise.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you for calling in on the show. She is the president of WEHA. Our two-time still.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for calling into the program today. And as you know, our subject is I am a COVID-19 survivor. And we're talking about this because COVID-19 is not a death sentence, but it's something that people should take seriously. So we want to talk about your experience and your husband's. How did you find out you had COVID-19?
Well, actually, we had family down from Wisconsin during the 4th of July weekend, that week rather, and my niece got sick and went over and got tested, and her test came back positive. So I'm like, oh, boy, we've been around each other all this time. And because my husband has underlying, conditions and things like that, we were like, okay, let us go get tested. And I guess I had been having symptoms, but I really didn't realize it. Like I had a sore throat one day, but it was for one day and then it went away. I never, had fever or things like that. But mainly it was precautionary. We got tested because my niece was here with us and she got tested as positive. So we said, well, let's go get tested. And once we got tested, actually, I came back positive. Deacon Hawks came back negative. But it took 3 days from the time that we took the test to the time that they called us and said, what's going on? So in them 3 days, I contaminated him.
Oh, wow.
So when they called him, now he was positive. So then both of us was positive. But once his test finally came back. So when they first told me, though, I went to the basement, and that's where I quarantined until it came that he was also positive, and then both of us were able to be in the same space together.
Wow. Now, I saw on Facebook a few days ago that you took another test and now it's negative.
Yes, that was our third test. Actually, for me, for day 10, my husband, it may have been a few days earlier, we went and tested again. So we were feeling fine. So I was like, well, let's go ahead and take the test. Look, because I was ready to get out of quarantine. So I'm like, let's go get this. Let's just go ahead and go now. So we went and took the test. That one came back that we were both still positive, day 10. So we took another test somewhere around day 17, 18, somewhere around there, and that's the test that just recently came back as both of us were clear and we're both negative.
Well, that's a blessing.
Yes, amen. So, I mean, just listening to some of your previous guests, I'm like, thank God, because neither one of us had to be hospitalized. Neither one of us experienced having fevers. Both of us were monitoring our oxygen. We got the device for that. And my daughter, she was sort of like the person telling us everything to do, and another friend of ours. So my daughter has a friend that she went to school with who's a doctor in Atlanta, and she told us, take the Mucinex and trying to build our immune system up. So, of course, vitamin C, zinc, and, things of that nature, the herbal teas with the lemon water and putting the drops in it, I forgot the name of the drops, but, basically those were the sort of things that both Deacon Hawks and I were doing to take care of ourselves. But my husband, he could not go back. He's under wound care, as everyone knows. He's been under wound care for a while now because he's diabetic. He has ulcer under his foot that turns into a wound. It's like a hole in his foot, basically, that he's been taking care of. He couldn't go back to number one, he had to stop that. And number two, he can't go back until he got official word that he's clear.
Wow.
That he's negative.
Wow. So
the oil was a regular oil. That's what, we put that under our tongue and also put it in the drinks and stuff, in our drinks and everything like that.
Now, did they give you the same test that I took with the thing that looked like a long Q-tip and put it up your nose?
Yep, we took that first time. Yeah, they did that one. The last time, no, we did that and the blood.
Oh.
I'm waiting for the blood.
All right, the blood one. So the blood one also shows whether or not you have it or not, too.
Right, yes, yep. She said that one shows whether you have it or not. And she said it sort of confirms. Like one shouldn't say that you're positive and the other one say you're negative. They should both say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
she said it sort of confirms. They confirm each other.
I know how much you and Deke love your grandchildren. Mm-hmm. So how hard was it for you not to see them and all of that?
Do not laugh. Well, one day I called my daughter. I'm like, I'm coming over. I just have to come and see Noli Poly. I said, we're going to stay 6 feet apart. Just tell him to come outside and say hi to Grandma. So I went over, put my mask and gloves on, and he looked at me, and I was just like, hi, Noli. Grandma just wants to come and see you. So, yeah, I had to see the grandbaby.
Yeah. Well, we're glad that...
And my other grandkids in Florida, they would call me through FaceTime. But the quarantine, it was rough.
Yeah, it is rough. My dad is in rehab, and he tested negative, but he still had to quarantine. And so the isolation, it was very difficult for him because he's used to family,
Yeah.
Nobody can come and see you,
Family and being out and about, and So that quarantine, it was kind of rough. And I think I heard one of your guests say, the gentleman, the first one that called, you stay in your word and, stay in prayer to keep your mind and to keep your peace.
Right.
It can get a little bit shaky there. But, you got to stay before the Lord to keep your mind and to keep your peace so that you can get through it. Just because of all the stigmatism that is attached to COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you said in the beginning, it is not a death sentence.
Right.
But if you, according to what you see on the news, and particularly for me, I was like, well, okay, Lee Hawks don't have it. So when he did have it, my heart jumped. I'm like, uh-oh.
Right.
Because he has all these underlying conditions.
Right.
So from what I've heard on the news, that was a fear. But we've been through it, and just praise God. I was just listening to the young lady before me, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, but through it all, thank you, Jesus. But to those out there, and as you guys are saying, please be careful. Wash your hands, put your mask on.
Right.
Do everything that you can to protect, because this thing is real. It's still out there, and we're not over the hump yet. So use wisdom.
Absolutely. I think that's the key thing. The principal thing is wisdom.
Wisdom. That's right.
You have to use wisdom, and I don't make anybody feel bad. Even if they can't come to church, because I'm online at our church, because we have a lot of older people, and we have a lot of people who have underlying conditions. I understand that.
Yeah.
I want them to be safe. I think it's my responsibility as a pastor, and a leader, to make sure that I'm making sure that our people are safe out there, and doing. And I tell people, you got to follow your convictions. I'm not telling people not to come to church, be in the parking lot, or have 10 in the building. I'm not saying that, because we're in the building, but it's only a few of us, in there. But I just want everyone to remain safe, and not to make anyone feel bad if they can't come to a gathering, or not just church, like a gathering, your graduation gathering. If people don't feel comfortable in doing that, I think we have to understand.
Absolutely.
I think we have to understand.
Monday is my mother's 80th birthday. We were supposed to have a little something, but being that, my husband and I tested positive, my niece was positive, her father was positive. I told my sister, I was like, okay, we're going to change that all the way up. Just do a drive-by. I thought of, First Lady Parrish and the way she did with her mom. And I've seen others do. I said, just do it. Just tell if they want to come by. Just tell them to drive by Mom's house, and beat the horn, so we'll do it that way.
Wow.
I said, with us getting it, we definitely cannot afford for Mom to get it, or my stepfather, Mr. Williams. Because both of them are in there. My mom will be 80, and Mr. Williams is in his 80s.
Yeah.
And I know he has underlining. So whatever. Just going back to, as you're going through this, you have to use wisdom.
Absolutely.
We long before yesterday when we used to be able to get together. And I know usually for you, Thelma, you probably have 3 or 4 more events lined up after the show.
She's been Zooming a lot.
I've been Zooming a lot.
Oh, yeah, I have to go here and I have to go there. And, we're used to that, and we long for that, but we're just not in that season right now.
Exactly.
We have to walk in the season that we're in. And like you said, we have to use wisdom, because this COVID is real. And, as this, it's beautiful, each one of your guests had a different perspective and experience on how they experienced it.
Exactly.
So you were able to see it from different aspects just from this show. The young lady, like she said, she's a young, healthy young lady, and just what she went through with the hospital and all of that, COVID is real.
Yeah, it is real. Well, Lady Praise, we thank God for you and Deacon Hawk, and we're praying for your continued recovery. We're glad that you are a survivor of COVID-19.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you,
guys. Thank you. Great show, and I appreciate you allowing me to come on to share my little story.
Oh, thank you.
Tell Deacon Hawks we're praying for him.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, you too.
Deacon Hawks sent me a thumbs up. He said I represented well.
Okay.
And also, before I go off, let me just let your listening audience know that this was the birth out of me being quarantined. I'm finally doing my morning show, which has been like 5 years in the making, which I've been saying I'm going to get around to it. But I pushed myself and said I'm doing it. So starting Wednesday, tune in every Wednesday, every Friday for Morning Dew.
Oh, wow.
I love it.
Morning show from 7 a.m. to to 12 noon, 7 a.m. to 12 noon. I'll be on the radio, so make sure you tune in.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You're so
All righty, God
All
bless
right.
you guys, and thanks again.
Okay.
All righty.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, did you enjoy our program today? I know you did. Thanks for tuning in to In the Community with Dr. Thelma and
Lady Parrish.
right here on your favorite gospel radio station, WEHA 88.7, 100.3 FM. We have gospel. See you on next week.
Gospel 88.7 WEHA. It's more than